Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated.
If we have something that says on air, you guys should get one of those.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
And just click it on. Click.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
Be good. We're always taking sponsors. So.
For an on-air sign?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's a clip right there. He's asking me for money.
Yeah, that's it. That's another clip right
not
there.
Sponsorship. It's different, right?
He's
I've
not
just seen the
asking you for
politics
money.
in the last couple months. Like, it's different.
Oh,
It's
a
politically
sponsorship,
correct if he's
Got it.
asking for a sponsorship.
got it.
If he's just
Okay.
asking you for money, like if you go ask your friend for money, no, you ask him for a sponsorship.
Got it. Okay. Well.
Ready?
Yeah.
You good, Eric? Yeah?
Good.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Totem Podcast. Today we got a special guest with you guys. As we keep going on week by week, we keep bringing people like with higher impact. Not that the other ones aren't, but we keep getting some very important people in here. So, Eric, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. You know, guys, as always, like if you guys want us to keep bringing like guests, like Monaco said, just more impactful people, just make sure to subscribe to the podcast. And then also just hit that bell to be notified every time we bring on another guest for our show.
So the guy we have on today, many of you guys know him already, but I know him as these three words. I hear these three words and I'm just like, it's him. He knows it. He knows it for sure. It's recruit, reward, and retain. Xander Marshall, how you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, nice to have you on. Nice to appreciate you taking like the time out of your day to come down here and chat with us for a little bit.
Yeah, usually I try to get done with my day on a Friday by 1 o'clock, but today
Not today, huh?
I'm giving a little bit of my extra time to you guys, and I'm happy to do that. I think we're covering an important topic, so it's good to be here.
So yeah, so like for like our audience who like doesn't know you, just give us like a brief explanation of who you are and what you do.
Sure. I am the Chief Operating Officer for Elite Solutions, which is a small benefits company or agency here in Colorado. We cover Colorado. We cover Wyoming. I've got a couple of agents that are licensed in New Mexico. I've got Washington, Oregon, Arizona, Utah. So we're kind of a little bit all over the place. And we've got a young lady that just came on. She will be going back to school, and so she'll be working with us, but not here in the States. She'll be going over to Connecticut. So we'll be expanding our wings almost to the far East Coast. So super exciting.
Nice, just like a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, we can honestly say coast to coast now with her coming on. It's going to be great.
No, that's great. With that, kind of going back, like, how'd you get started in the like insurance stuff?
How did I get started in the insurance stuff? Back in 2019, my wife sent me an Indeed ad to interview for an insurance position with Colonial Life. And so I went down and I interviewed. And one of the things that my wife had originally mentioned is please don't get a commission job. And this is a 100% commission job. And after the interview, I was really excited about it. So I called her. I said, hey, I'm excited about it. I don't know how to spell insurance. And it's 100% commission. And
I'm sure did that go well with her?
It was okay, actually. She turned around and said, well, you'll learn how to spell insurance. And if there's a deadline or there's something that you need to make sure that we accomplish financially or whatever, I know you'll be able to meet that deadline. So one of the biggest things that I think you need in this particular industry is making sure that you have somebody that is 100% supportive of what you're doing, because you will have your highs, you will have your lows. And so it's not an easy job. So it is something that is absolutely necessary. But at the same time, when you're trying to raise a family, when you're trying to buy a home like we were in 2019 and things like that, not having a consistent paycheck can be daunting.
Yeah. And are you talking about like supporting you like partner wise or like a mentor wise?
So my wife is the person that absolutely needs to have everything planned out. She needs to have everything. She needs to have that consistency in income, making sure that we have something coming in. Me, on the other hand, ooh man, I've got to get this done, and I thrive under pressure. I love pressure.
So that's why she didn't want you to have like a commission-based job.
Yeah, it stresses her out. Stresses her out. Me, on the other hand, well,
It's game time, huh?
Game
Let's
time.
go.
Game time. Yeah.
Yeah, but with that, like kind of going, if you don't mind, kind of going back a little bit further, like yes, like say 2019 is when you like the start, but I mean you've had other businesses in the past. Like it's not your first time into this, so it's like you kind of know what to expect, what challenges you may face too.
Sure. I mean, we can take it back all the way to where my career actually started, or my careers, I should say. I've had multiple careers. I joined the military back in 2000 actually. I went to boot camp in October of 2000, and then I served 10 years. I got out in April of 2010, and then after that, I went into the fitness industry. So I was in the fitness industry from 2011 to 2017. Actually, a little bit before that, 2015, 16. In 2017, I joined the Home Depot, and I was literally a guy that walked around the store and asked people for their phone numbers and said, hey, can we send somebody out to your house and tell you a little bit about what we can do for your house.
I thought you were going to say the guy that walks around Home Depot where you're like, hey, you know where this is? No.
No, that's my job now. That's my job now, yeah. I walk in there all the time with my kids, and it's like, where's this?
I don't know. You should go ask Betty over there in aisle 2. I think she might know where it is, and then they just disappear.
Yep. That's not my department. I'm sorry. I'm in plumbing. I'm just kidding. No. And then after that, I tried about 35 seconds in the car industry. I thought I was going to be able to sell cars. That's a completely different beast. I went from designing kitchens and selling kitchens and closets and bathrooms and stuff like that to trying to sell cars, and that was crazy. Definitely not my cup of tea. For those people that do it, I respect you and commend you for the difficulty that is.
Is it just the clients kind of that you deal with on a day-to-day, or just the industry itself?
The industry itself, one, because it's high pressure, and I know I just finished saying I love the pressure, but when you don't know the industry, you don't know. I literally went in from not knowing anything about it and thinking that I could do it, and the expectation is pretty high immediately, right? You come in and you tell them, oh yeah, I'm a good salesman. Well, they expect that like right away, and that's not what it was for me. I'm more, when I do sell something, I'm more of a relationship builder, and I think that's why the industry that I'm in now, it's a little bit more intimate. It's a little bit more to the needs of people, not just trying to sell the most expensive car, but to the needs of what people have, and I think that's really important. I am now more of a counselor or as a guide to make sure that people understand what they're getting, and they're getting what they actually need, not just, hey, you need this, listening to what people need and offering what people need. And that's what makes the biggest difference, really.
I think listening is probably one of the hardest things, like, as a person to do. Like, I like, it might sound kind of dumb, but I think listening, because then, like, what you do, you listen to what they need, their actual needs, and then you can say, we can go this route. Like, if you don't know what their needs are, because you didn't listen, you don't know what to offer them or where they want to go.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah, that's been a common theme with, like, a few of our past guests, Well, first of all, thank you for your service. But that's been a common theme with, like, a few of the guests we've had on, that, like, yes, like, by now, like with the point that they're on in the industry, it's more about just like listening to what your client needs and not just trying to force something down their throat.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, so the logo for our agency is a starfish. Are you guys familiar with the starfish story?
No.
Break it down.
All right, I'll break it down. It's actually on our website. It's elitebenefitsolutionsltd.com. And it's on our website, the starfish story. It's the story of a young boy that's on a beach, and he's throwing starfish back into the ocean. An older gentleman walks up to him and says, "Hey, little boy, what are you doing?" And the little boy turns around and says, "Well, I'm throwing these starfish back into the ocean. If not, they're going to die." Well, the older gentleman looks down the beach, and he sees miles and miles of beach, and he sees thousands and thousands of starfish lying on the beach. And he looks down on the boy, and he says, "There's so many starfish and so much beach. There's no possibility you're going to make a difference." So the little boy picks up one more starfish, throws it back into the ocean, and says, "I made a difference for that one." And I think that right there is what
awesome.
Really drives me.
That's awesome. Yeah. No?
Yeah. I like that story. That's kind of what drives me. We have a plethora of benefits that we can offer, but they're not the right fit for everybody, right? We have different services that we can offer, but every service that we offer isn't necessarily something that is going to fit everybody's need. So what we do is we partner with brokers to bring additional benefits. So, you know Amy, obviously,
Yes.
she's one of my partners. We do property and casualty, but I don't do a single thing with property and casualty. Why? Because she's my business partner, and she works for Farmers Insurance. And so we've partnered together to be able to do just, if she has commercial clients, that we can actually bring our supplemental and voluntary benefits to her commercial book of business. We do that. Additionally, the other way around, if I come across a client of mine that needs workman's comp, I don't know anything about that. But what I can do is turn around and go to my business partner and offer that through them. Just because I am an insurance agency, I don't do everything. But through the partnerships that I have, I've been able to provide more things to my clients. And I think that's what makes us a little bit different, is creating strong, powerful partnerships to bring things that are needed by everyone.
Yeah, I just think it's more comforting for like the person. Like if I'm going with you and you be like, I got this person that can do this and I got this person that can do this, like we got you. So it's more comforting, like, okay, he has a strong team around him that they're ready to go.
Absolutely.
But and then with that, like, so what, I guess, kind of give me, what is what do you all offer? Elite Solutions, what do you guys all offer? Like on all the stuff that you're saying that you
Absolutely.
do and don't?
Yeah, that's a great question. So through my partnerships, I have the ability to bring payroll and HR services. We can bring the credit card processing, and those two things are done through Heartland. I have a great partnership with them. And then we can do 401k management. And that's just literally the partnership that we have with Human Interest. I do none of it. Why? Because I'm not the expert, and I'm not trying to be the expert. I can bring these particular partners to the table for one of my clients. I think
that, sorry to cut you off, I think that's, like, I don't think people just like really took that and took into context. Like, like you're accepting, I'm not that good at this, so let me get a team around me that can do it, and I'll focus on this, and I'll have them do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of trying to do the whole thing, yourself.
So let me go back to 2019. I thought I actually could. So if you ask my old manager, when I first came into the industry, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to learn this, and then I'm going to get into property and casualty, and I'm going to learn health insurance, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And believe me, there are people that do that. Okay. But those same exact people are losing a client here, losing a client here, and then they come back and they say, "Hey, I don't know why I'm losing all my clients."
You're doing everything 50%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's true with like every business, that once they start out, they think they can do everything themselves. Like, yes, in the short term, it's gonna like save them money, save them, a little bit of cash, but then in the long run, it's gonna hurt them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, have you guys ever heard of the E-Myth Revisited?
I haven't.
So it is a book that talks about entrepreneurs, right? And when you're really, really good at something, you become an entrepreneur. You open up a business and you are an expert in that business, right? Well, several different things change as you are becoming a business owner. You cannot be the person that can fix the car the best. You've got to bring somebody else on. Or if you are going to be the lead mechanic and going to be the person that fixes the car the best, you can't do HR, you can't do payroll, you can't do, everything else, the front desk all by yourself. You've got to have a team. And that's what we've evolved into. I've got partnerships with small agencies or even large agencies that work with us specifically because of what we bring. Sage Benefits in Fort Collins, it happens to be one of my partners. When we run into one of their clients or one of their clients needs the supplemental benefits, which is what we are experts in, and that's what we focus on, the supplemental benefits, they call us and they say, "Hey, we need help with this." We let them manage the major medical because that's what they're experts at. But they're my business partners, and so I can pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I need a quote for this. Can I get the information for this?" And I think that's what really kind of makes us a little bit different. We're not trying to, there's so much business out there. We're not trying to take every bit of business. And if anything, realistically, I mean, we can have partnerships with the same people that other companies have. And what we're going to bring to the table is service. Not only that, but we're going to bring quality service. And we're not just going to show up for the enrollment and then you see me next year. I've got people that literally text me at night and say, "Hey, I need help filing a claim." I've got a brand new broker that just came on with my team, and he texted me the other day and he said, "Hey, I need you to get in touch with this plan administrator for this company because she personally needs to file a claim." So I called her up, helped her, walked her through the claim process for what we do, the supplemental benefits. On the other side, he took care of the health insurance side for her. So that's
and you say like they called you like at night and stuff, right? Or like and that's, I think that's a challenge that a lot of people have. They're like, they want to be business owners, they want to be entrepreneurs, and they're like it's 4:30, I'm clocking out. But it's like with that, it's like I think it never turns off, honestly.
I think one of the things that a lot of young people need to understand, if you are going to be a business owner, me personally, I would much rather work 180 hours a week for myself than 40 hours a week for somebody else with a dead-end job that is not that's not gonna lead to anywhere, really. I mean,
Yep.
Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, you hit it right on. But social media creates, I think, especially social media creates a thing. You're like, I'm gonna have my own business. I'm gonna have more time.
It creates a false narrative.
Oh,
For people like, "Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. That means I can just stuff on Amazon or whatever, do drop shipping. I'm good. I'm set. I don't have to do anything, and I'm living life."
Surprise.
That's not what it really is.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people also get into entrepreneurship and think that it's going to be, I'm going to make money overnight. It takes time to build relationships. It takes time to build a reputation. And it takes time to earn the respect of people in the industry that you're getting into. I asked you about your business at the beginning. How was it in the first year? And you said it was kind of rough. It
is rough, yeah. But I feel like it sucks when you're going through it, but then once you kind of seen it going back, like you needed that to happen to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to go over the rejection. You've got to understand that all this time, it's not going to be an easy thing. You've got to have the opportunity to fail. And I think Denzel Washington says it best: if you're going to fail, fail forward.
Fail forward,
right? Don't have a backup plan, because if you have a backup plan, you're gonna fall backwards, right? But instead, if you're gonna fail, fail forward.
Because you can at least see where you're falling. That's
Absolutely.
how it goes. Yeah,
that's exactly what he says.
Yeah, I've heard that many times. That's the workout video.
Yeah. All right, sweet. We listened to the same thing. It's good.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you what sets you guys apart, and that the service. It's as businesses grow, it's harder for them to keep offering that personalized service. But I mean, it's awesome that you guys offer have that opportunity to have that personalized kind of service with your clients.
Yeah, one thing that I emphasize to agents that I bring on is it's not necessarily just about getting paid. It's about earning the trust of that business owner, because one of the things that we encourage is, hey, once you get the business, once you've done the enrollment, once you've done the after enrollment or the post enrollment check-in, why don't you ask for a referral, or why don't you ask for a recommendation, or ask for a Google review on what they experienced? Those things right there speak volumes, right? And if you can have good reviews that are coming through, I think it's really good. I think if you can have somebody that says, you know what, I trust this guy enough to send my friends to him, that's really good. Those are important, really important. So,
no, yeah. I'm just kind of thinking about that whole thing, the reviews, the good stuff of what you're doing is good, or maybe a bad review. I messed up on this, and you're okay, I can get that, and I can start taking that into practice. If it's
absolutely, I think we grow. We're never going to grow if we're comfortable, right? Let's when you go into work out, you're going in to tear a muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And tearing that muscle is actually going to make it stronger. Well, it's the same thing with rejection in business, or if you're coming across a lot of closed doors in business, it's going to happen. But what you need to do is be able to overcome that and say, okay, well, I learned this, I learned this, I learned this. One of the things that I emphasize for people that I look for to bring onto our team is being smart, being humble, and being hungry, right? Why do I focus on those specific things? You've got to be smart enough to pick up on cues. You've got to be smart enough to be able to pick up on what people actually need and things like that. You've got to be humble, because you have to be trained, right? And you have to be able to understand that things need to change just a little bit in what you think something should look like. And then, of course, being hungry, right? That's
the most important one, probably, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you do not sell, you're not eating, right? I'll
tell you after that. Go.
I have ramen Mondays, or I have ramen first day of the quarter, ramen first day of the month, and that's just a reminder to me that if I don't sell something, I'm gonna go back to eating ramen.
Yeah, and I think it's essential to feel that.
Absolutely,
to feel it, you got to feel it.
It's a simple little reminder.
Yeah.
If you go outside, I have a 2006 Ford Focus, right? And
it's a beast, by the way.
It is a beast. It
all
gets
the stickers.
It gets what's that?
With all the stickers.
Yeah, absolutely, all the stickers. And I can afford to get a new car, but in reality, that car keeps me humble, right?
Because going back to, so what are all the guys, they're insurance, you're he got the Beamer, he got the out, that's the typical, right?
The nice cars, the show off kind of.
Absolutely. So when I was actually looking to buy a house, as crazy as it sounds, okay, I went with a realtor that had the oldest car and not a super expensive flashy car. That's who I went with.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know what?
Is it the same reason kind of why, like what you're talking about? Like, they're hungry?
I didn't want to be sold, right? I didn't want to be sold a house that I didn't want. And the person that is driving that car that is kind of old and beat up is going to go the extra mile to earn your business. So they're going to go to extra houses. They're going to go to additional places that might not necessarily be the right place, you know, and they're going to give you their honest opinion. I think when you get to a certain place, you lose the trust of people if you have the flashy car, if you have the, all the toys and everything. Well, you know, that's great. But do you relate to me, who's living paycheck to paycheck?
Yeah.
Right? Do you relate to the guy that, you know, $20 a month might be a lot,
Yeah.
you know? So that's why I keep my car, man. It reminds me that I am this small.
Yeah.
You
That's
know.
good. So everybody hide your cars because Xander's driving around checking out your cars, doing some stalking.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Is it kind of hard to find agents that are smart, that are humble, and that are hungry?
I think the smart is really, really easy to find today. Really is. You can find just about anything on YouTube, on Google. I mean, everything. You can really learn quite a bit from the internet. And so realistically, finding the intelligent agents isn't very hard. The part that we're having a hard time with is humble and hungry. That's probably the hardest thing to find in an agent. Because everybody comes in with they're balls of fire. They're like ready to go. But as soon as they encounter opposition, it gets a little uncomfortable.
So they start getting kicked around a little bit, and it's like.
I tell you what.
So what's the age group like? Say like for like insurance person.
So the average age for a health insurance agent across the nation is 65. So
see, I think that it goes back to like I think that's like if that's the average, you know. So those people that age probably don't want to kick around that much because they're just like they want something more stable.
Yeah.
So
you know, for when I think about that, I'm a baby compared to some of these people. You know, my mentor, who works for an agency up in Fort Collins, he's been in the industry for 22 years, and he's only 4 years older than I am. Right?
Oh, really?
And he's got the most brilliant mind when it comes to insurance. One, because he studies the material. So some of you may have heard, or I don't know if you've heard, there is an organization called the National Association of Health Underwriters. And so he is on the legislative board for the state for that. And so he goes every February to the conference at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. And what this basically consists of is being able to talk with legislators about what's going on in the industry. We're speaking with people that are making decisions for the industry. You know, not only that, but he's also somebody that not only goes out to learn it, but comes back and shares all that knowledge. I think today we find all these people that are eager to learn as much as they possibly can, and then they want to hoard all that information like it's a competition to know what I know. Ultimately, I think if we can change that mentality to where, I just learned something, now I'm going to turn around and teach 1, 2, 3, 4 people, and those 4 people are going to turn around and teach four more people each. Man, we're gonna be a very, very strong.
It's a domino effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Learn as much as you possibly can, and then turn around and share as much as you possibly can with people.
That's huge. Like what you're saying with your mentor, like for him to be able to go like put yourself in that position, like you're saying, you're successful, and then so he's your mentor, so he's like whatever you want to put, whatever we define as a success, I guess. but he has that humble. He's like, I'm humble. I need to go learn some more, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. People are like, we're talking about it the other day with Nathan. Like, we get to a spot and then we're just like, we used to make this much. Now we're making a little bit more. Now we feel like we're on top of the world, and we stop learning. And that's kind of follows up with what I wanted your take on is like, why do you think like business owners and stuff stop evolving?
Why do business owners stop evolving? Well, there's several different factors really that stop evolution. One, it comes from restrictions from the government. That's one thing, or changes to the landscape of how business is done. The last 2 years, I think, has really taught us that working from home can be effective. My wife is a work from home mom. She has a full-time job and everything, but and she's trusted enough to work from home, get her job done. And my son doesn't go to summer camp or anything like that, so he's home with her all day long, and in between breaks and things like that, she's teaching him how to read, how to do his math and things like that. So, we've got individuals out there that can really make an impact on what the world and what really affects the business. And so her, for example, she can work from home because she doesn't need an office. They provide all of the equipment and everything for her to be able to do her job, and she gets it done, right? Where people fail is they start thinking, well, I've gotten to where I think I want to be, right? And then they forget, you've got to keep going. You've got to keep going.
Sometimes we can't believe in different stuff. We can't believe all of our thoughts, Our mind can trick us to think we're someone we're not. Yeah.
I've got a friend of mine who is a photographer, and every time that I talk to him, I gotta give him props. His name is Noah Katz. You've met him before.
Yes, I've met him.
Right?
Shout out to Noah.
Shout out to Noah. Absolutely, he is a phenomenal photographer. But every time that I talk to him, he's telling me about a new service that he's adding, or how he added a new piece of equipment, so he needs to bring somebody else on. He's booked out until whenever. Sometimes I've actually caught him, texting me at like 10 o'clock at night and saying, before I forget, hey, this. And when I've talked to him on the phone, I was up till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock doing some photos and stuff like that, making sure that, these pieces come out perfectly for this couple. That right there is somebody that knows that they can get bigger and keeps going for it. Where some people get a $7,000 check, and that's the largest check they've ever seen. And so
let's go spend it.
In a month, they're gone out of the industry.
Yeah.
I've seen some really, really successful agents come in and rock it out, man, and earn a good living. And then because they're being successful, all of a sudden they drop their pack and they're like, oh, sweet. Well, I've got some money for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
There's no consistency.
Yeah. So what drives you? What drives you to, keep evolving, keep working, keep doing better, Well, I will tell you, my life about 6-7 years ago was completely different. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I have children with 2 ex-wives, so I'm on my 3rd marriage. So what drives me? I've got children I have to take care of. I've got responsibility to set a good example to my kids that it doesn't matter what situation you got yourself into, because nobody else but myself caused the situation of divorce, child support, being fired or whatever. Those were all things that I did. So now it's my responsibility to stand up and be a contributing member of society
and set that example to my children, and not just say, well, you know what, I'm gonna lay back and if they eat this week, great. If not,
Yeah.
well, you know, I lived on the street for a couple of years, so it's okay.
It'll be okay.
It'll be all right. You know, yeah.
So what flipped the switch? Like you're saying, like you're an alcoholic, you're recovering. I mean, that's awesome. It's great to hear. But what made that switch? Like then, like
because you were going down like this path, and like I'm sure something had to like switch either in your life or like you yourself personally that like made you realize that wasn't where you needed to be.
That's a good question. I listen to a lot of people and what they say and stuff like that. Steve Harvey was asked, "Hey, how come I can't get my husband to be faithful?" And Steve Harvey turned around and he said, "Men do not change for women. Men change for the woman."
For one woman, yeah.
Right, for the one woman. Mm-hmm. And, you know, of course, I've been married twice before this one. And so automatically somebody would say, well, if you got married, obviously that was the one, right? Well, you know what? Maybe she was the one, but I certainly didn't treat her like she was the one for those two. And I didn't feel like... I felt at that time that family was a responsibility, not a blessing. And I think the mentality of what I am now, and that's a father, that's a papa, that's a daddy. You know, it's completely different than I gotta get to work. You know, it's no, I get to go to work because I have these two little mouths to feed that are in my house. I have these 4 other little mouths that are out of my house that need to be fed and taken care of. So what switched? I found the right one. I found the right woman. My wife literally, I don't want to say she saved my life, but she definitely changed my life. And when I asked her, hey, what made you decide to do what you wanted to do? And that's, you know, jump off a cliff with me as your parachute. She said, I didn't see all the holes in the parachute. I saw the potential that you could still save, you know, be a parachute. Right. So
that's
she's
powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah, she saw my potential. You know, she didn't care about what was in the past. It was what she saw that I could be in the future. And that's a big deal, to have somebody believe in you that much to say, because I remember the time that she said, well, what are your plans if we do get married? I said, well, I've been divorced twice. I have 4 kids with 2 ex-wives and I have no job. But I promise you I'll love you forever. And she said, okay, let's do it.
Here you are.
Here we are
now.
Here we are.
7 years later.
7 years later, and you know, we just celebrated 7 years in June, and we've got 2 beautiful kids together with a 3rd one on the way. So what changed? I saw my life as an opportunity, not as a responsibility. You know, and I didn't want to waste that. I have a great opportunity to be a good influence on kids. I have a great opportunity to be a good influence on my wife. I have a great opportunity to teach, even though I'm not with my ex-wives and with my kids from my other marriages. I can teach my kids how to treat their mother and how to treat other people by how I treat my exes.
It's like, I'm pretty sure you've heard the quotes, like, your actions are so loud that I can't hear you.
Yeah. That's, you know, people don't. I don't want people to ever wonder. Okay, well, you know, what did he do in his other marriages, or what could have happened, or whatever. I was a cheater. Man. I'm not even gonna bow out from that and try to hide that. I was not a good person. I didn't have a moral compass, and I really didn't care too much about who I hurt and what happened. I like to drink, so I drank a lot, you know. And so thinking back to that time, and just being completely irresponsible and whatnot. It was a really, really bad time in my life. But now I'm in a place where I recognize my errors, and all I want to do is make sure that I change the future of how my kids see me. At one point, I didn't even care, but now I have to make sure that, and it's not for me to get a pat on the back that I'm a good example for my kids. It's for me to say, you know what, my kids are that important that I have to do something right. We talk about all this, save the planet, leave a better planet for our kids and stuff like that. There's a rapper named Tom McDonald. Why don't we leave better kids for our planet? That's pretty deep. We can't leave a better planet for our kids when our kids don't even appreciate it. But if we leave kids that appreciate the planet, and we have kids that respect human life and human beings and respect each other, that's going to be the biggest impact that we can have, really.
Yeah.
Forget leaving a better planet for our kids. Leave better kids for our planet. I think that's a big deal.
How do you think that starts?
It starts in the home. Starts in the home, man. You can have all the influence from outside, social media, news, whatever. But inside your home, you have the ability to set a foundation for your kids. You have the ability to set a foundation for yourself, and you have the ability to set a foundation for anyone that enters into your home. I mean, looking in here, this is a place of business, right? Are there toys over there? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I gotta be a dad when I'm working. Also,
there's toys everywhere.
I need to keep them entertained.
Right? So, sometimes that's what you have to do.
And that's why it goes back to like when you're saying like your wife that works from home. Like, my personal opinion, I think she's a badass because she's doing that at home. Like, because I do it sometimes here. I'm trying to do stuff on the computer with my kids, and it's like, oh my goodness, it's hard. It's hard.
In today's day and age, in a world where we're trying to prove that women can do everything that a man can do, I find it really amazing that we forget that there's so much more that a woman can do that a man can't, right? Yeah. The fact that she can juggle a business, right, and conduct her job on a day-to-day basis and still complete her tasks, be teaching a 5-year-old son how to read and math and all these things. And then if I was asked to do that, I would probably lose my patience. I'm just being honest, right? Uh-huh. Come on, I'm trying to get something done. Hey, let's not look at how similar women are to us. Man, let's just hold them up on the pedestal that they deserve to be on, because they do so much more that we can't, and I think that's a big value that right there is one of the things that we can really do, teach. So how do we teach our kids to be better kids for the planet? Simple. Teach them one simple thing. It doesn't matter what the outside world labels us as. At the end of the day, the one thing that matters most is that your children and that you yourself understand that you are a child of God, right? The world can call you a Mexican. The world can call you a racist. The world can call you a whatever. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they call you. You're a child of God, and you've been made with a purpose. And so if we teach our kids that their purpose is to learn and to progress and to eventually get back to our Heavenly Father, then that's what matters, right? That's what really, really matters. Doesn't matter what the world says that they are, You know?
So would you go back and like change anything
No.
in your life?
No. No, absolutely not. Why? Because I didn't learn the value of a relationship until I lost one, right? Until somebody cheated on me, right? That's tough, man. That's tough. You know, and so that's a big deal. I don't think that I would have ever really cared. I don't think I would be here. I mean, in 2014, I was hospitalized and put on suicide watch for 6 days in a veterans hospital. You know,
That's deep. Yeah.
Wow.
No,
So going through all that has made you like become the man that you are today, the father that you are today, the husband that you are today.
yeah, absolutely. I have much greater respect for different points of views. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. I went to a networking function, and when the function was over, we walked out, and the person that I was walking out with has complete opposite views than what I do, and they started expressing how much disdain they had for people that had the points of views that were portrayed on a car. And I looked at her and I said, well, why does that bother you so much? And she said, well, you know, just these people, just you can't talk with them, you can't communicate with them. They're just you know, so brainwashed by this particular brand of politics. And I looked at her and said, well, that's my car.
I don't know exactly which one she's talking about too.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, that's my car. And I think that's the biggest problem today is automatically you have no idea who's driving that car, but you automatically associated a specific type of brand of politics because of what you saw on that car. If we had a conversation, I guarantee you we would align in a whole lot more. So about 2 or 3 weeks later, I invited her to breakfast, and we went out to breakfast, and we're sitting there, and this was right after the Uvalde shooting happened, and we started talking about it, and she said, well, we should just get rid of guns altogether. And I said, well, you know, we have a ton of unemployed veterans. Why don't we arm them and have them stand around schools?
Yeah.
Right?
That's exactly what we did a podcast on that too, and that's exactly the point we brought up. That's
I mean, you have all these people that are trained with weapons that literally could stand outside, and not only do we employ them, but we also protect the children, right? At the end of the day, that's something. And when we walked out, I said, hey, listen, I'm in a hurry. I get a text message driving back to the appointment that I had, and it's probably about yay long.
Oh, yeah.
So I get to my appointment, and I get there, and I read it, and she goes, I'm so glad we had a conversation. There's so much that we can learn together. And if we had more time to communicate about our differences, we probably would find out that more people have similar views, because we agreed on 90% of the stuff. The only thing that we didn't agree on was just the small stuff that gets blown up out of proportion in the media. You know, at the end of the day, I think the every single person, the only thing that they want to see is for our country to progress, right? And progression looks different for everybody. It really does. Advancement looks different for everybody. You're not going to be at the same place that I'm at. Neither are you. And I'm not going to be at the same place that Nathan's at, or that Christina's at, or that Susie is at, or whoever. You know, we're all learning at our different pace, and we just need to understand that if we communicated, we had the willingness to talk, we'd recognize that we actually have a lot of similar believes.
It's all relative.
Yeah. It's crazy because I'm like the whole thing. I'm just kind of like picturing it in my head, like with this person, you go, you have that, everything's good. They like you inside. You come outside, and then they're just like they see you, they see something, and then they don't like right away. It's like a check mark right by you. So I think that's where it kind of goes into social media. They don't know the person, but they just see everything that they do, and they do agree with this. They're like, yeah. But you don't really know like them or the other way around. You see them, and you're just like, sure. Oh, whatever. He's Mexican. He looks brown. He thinks this way. He thinks that. So they start putting the checks. So I think that's where the communication is lost because they don't actually, like you said, like your friend, reach out, have a conversation.
Yeah.
People don't like to get pushed back like on their stuff. That's the thing.
Once you start pushing back, and it's like, oh no, like
it's uncomfortable.
And I have a question up here on the board. I'm pretty sure you can read it. If the question offended you, ask why. It's on this whiteboard right
Okay.
You can't probably see it. If the question offended you, ask why.
Yeah.
So,
and that all goes back to like what they teach you in grade school to not judge a book by its cover.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Probably about when did Joe Biden have COVID? Like last week, 2 weeks ago, right?
So it was recent.
Whenever he had COVID, right? I posted on my social media. I said, "Pray for our president," right? And people that know that I didn't vote for the man probably were wondering, why would you post that, right? Well, that's like getting on an airplane and wishing that the pilot dies because you don't like the pilot. We're in this airplane together, right? Whether we like the pilot right now, Joe Biden, or not, I'm not going to wish anything negative for him. Because he's our pilot.
He's already there. So
he's already there. I mean, judging by the approval rating of his VP, even in people that voted for them, being at 20%, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take the co-pilot. That's
I'd rather have the pilot than the co-pilot.
Yeah.
The numbers speak for itself, but that's a whole another thing. A big thing I want your take on is like, why do you think businesses lose a lot of good employees? Because I feel like it kind of intertwines with what you do. Am I correct or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, absolutely. If you were working at let's say Lowe's, right, and you were working at Home Depot.
Competition. Let's go.
Competition, right? It's not a competition. It's Home Depot all the way. I'm just saying.
100%.
100%, yeah. I own a lot of stock in Home Depot, so not in Lowe's. So, if you were working at Lowe's or your Lowe's, your Home Depot, and I'm working at either one, and I go to my job, right, at Lowe's, and they're paying me $13.20, and zero benefits, and over here they're paying me $14. And zero benefits, I'm going to jump ship for 80 cents.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Happens every day. Yeah.
Every single day. So I've got to think about how do I attract people that are going to stay, and how am I going to take advantage of the talent pool that we have by having them stick with us, right? And I think that's one of the things that really we can bring to the table as Elite Solutions. We can bring benefits that can really help. You said it at the beginning: recruit, reward, and retain employees.
That's why every time I hear those, I'm just like, there he is.
I mean, that's the hardest thing to do, right? You go into any business right now, and you ask him, "Hey, what's the hardest thing that you're coming across right now?" Well, recruiting. I can't have customers. I can't have employees. I went into King Super up in Fort Collins yesterday. Crazy thing. You would think King Super, owned by Kroger, has plenty of money. They should be able to attract employees, right? And they actually have a good benefits plan. They don't have Colonial Life. Kroger, I'm talking to you.
There you go.
They don't have Colonial Life. But my goodness, man, if they had something that could attract those employees a little bit more, what difference or what impact would it be? Could the employer spend a little bit more money on those employees on the benefit side, our benefits aren't expensive. They're designed for people that get paid hourly wages on the low end, and that maybe are living paycheck to paycheck. Those are the people that really need them. Because if you think about it, if you get sick or if you're unable to work due to an accident or something like that, and you don't have short-term disability, who's going to pay your bills?
Exactly.
Who's going to pay your bills?
I have a thing I've done with some stuff like in the past with like bills and hospital and stuff, but I believe we're all one bill away from being homeless. And people, because if you don't have health, if you don't have insurance, you're one bill away from just,
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'll give you a interesting statistic that was done back in like 2017. The large majority of people that filed for bankruptcy because of medical reasons.
Really?
Yep. I think it was like 72% of the people that filed for bankruptcy was because of a large medical bill. 68% of those people actually had major medical insurance, right? So what we specialize in with Elite Solutions, partnered through Colonial Life, is fill those holes that your major medical plans have.
So it's kind of like, I'm just, tell me if I'm wrong. I'm just kind of seeing that people are like, for their car, they do Gap insurance.
Sure.
Would it be something like that for like that?
Absolutely. So let's say for example, you have an Anthem plan or United Healthcare, whatever, right? And your deductible is $7,000 because you want your premiums to be a little bit lower, right? Nobody wants to pay high premiums, right?
Like, I'm not going to use it anyways.
Yeah, never. I never go to the doctor, so it doesn't matter. So you have a $7,000 deductible, but that's just for you, right? Then you look at the deductible for the family, and it's $14,000, and you and your family or you and your wife get into a car accident. You already have, and it's literally not at fault. There's no other vehicles involved. You just hit a piece of ice, and your deductible for your car is $1,000, and then your deductible for you and your wife combined, it's going to be $14,000. So now you're at $15,000, and then you got to go to the hospital and all this other stuff. So, do you have $15,000 right now to put towards a hospital bill?
No.
Do you?
No.
Okay.
I don't think anybody does.
No.
If you actually see the
think about
stats,
it.
like it's like
Hang on.
80% of the people don't even have $1,000 for savings, especially not for medical.
Oh my goodness! So the average person across the United States has $568 in their savings.
Yeah.
In their savings.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't want to spend your savings on medical bills.
You're saving for the brand new car. You can't do that.
No. So you know what you do? I'll tell you what you do. You end up getting a high interest rate credit card, right? And you are going to pay off that medical bill slowly, right? But it's a high interest credit card, especially right now, right? I mean, even if you had low interest rates before on your credit card, it says anywhere from 15.5 to 26.7, right?
That variable, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. So now that the feds are, shooting up those interest rates, what is that doing for a credit card? So automatically people think that, well, food is getting more expensive, gas is getting more expensive, Starbucks is getting more expensive. If my employees can't afford this, well, can your employees afford not to make their rent? Can your employees afford not to feed their kids, right? And that's what we do. We help protect families and individuals from life's unexpected events because it happens every day. I was 40 years, 40 years, 8 months, 9 months old before I ever broke a bone. I was on the second step of a ladder, of an A-frame ladder, and reached up to the very edge of a roof to get a remote control bird. I handed it to my son. I was coming back down, somehow I lost my balance.
It's that age. It's that age is getting to you, man.
It's like that, huh? Okay. And I shattered my wrist. Dude, a 40-year-old doesn't even think about, the possibility of shattering their wrist, especially not on an A-frame ladder, right? It should be good. Simply, I lost my balance, man. I lost my balance. I lost my footing. I tried to catch myself, and, I literally had a Harry Potter arm on my arm. It looked crazy.
I like how Eric's smiling over here because he literally, right before this podcast, he just went down like half this flight of stairs.
So let me ask you, do you have an accident plan?
No, not yet. But
there we go. Recruit him. Get him.
But no, I mean, and I'm not saying it that way to put you on the spot, right? Because you guys have put me on the spot quite.
Kind of is,
but you don't have an accident plan, right? So what would have happened if you did fall down the stairs and you broke an arm?
Probably do the same thing you're explaining. Just get a credit card and pay off the medical bills or something.
Right. So
what's even funny? That's not the first time.
It's the second time.
He's the only person that it did. Last time he had a bruise for a couple of weeks on his back.
Yeah. Last time I fell on my back, and it was like pretty much like the full stairs.
Yeah.
But then this time I kind of learned a little bit, so I just turned to my side, so I got hit on the hip.
So you learn from their mistakes.
And it was like a third of the way down.
To the doctor?
No, I just rubbed it out real quick.
Rubbed it out.
Got
it. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Gotta go get that vaporu and just rub it in there.
Absolutely. Yeah, but I mean, let's think about let's think about workman's comp. Okay, real quick. National average. When are most workman's comp claims filed with an employer? Do you know? Anybody have any idea?
No.
10 o'clock on a Monday morning.
Really?
Yeah. You know why?
They're hungover from the weekend.
No. Eric was working in his yard doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. Mowing the lawn, taking out the trash, being a good dad, throwing your kids up in the air, and you tweaked your back. You show up, you don't have any insurance.
Oh, okay, I got you.
You don't have any insurance. So you show up on Monday, you work for a couple of hours, and then you go somewhere where there's no cameras, and you just picked up a really heavy...
I was being naive. I was thinking actually on the job, but yeah, I completely understand. Yeah.
You picked up a heavy box, and all of a sudden your back hurts, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going to go to your employer and say, hey, I was just trying to pick up this box, and I injured my back, right? And so naturally, what's going to happen there?
Now it's the company.
Now it's on the company.
And that it sounds funny, but that's completely true because I worked construction myself for like 9 years, and that's exactly what happened. I never thought about it, but yes, yeah, you hit it perfect.
I mean, that happens. I mean, let's not be naive about it. Yeah. It stinks, right? It really does stink. But who gets hurt the most by that? It's not the employee. It's not the employee's family, but it's the small business owner that now has to pay a higher amount in workman's comp because they just had a claim, right? So what are we doing to be able to protect the small business owner? It's the same thing. We're trying to protect the small business owner, and a lot of business owners will say, oh, well, I don't know if I can afford that. Well, can you afford a higher workman's comp claim or premium because you had a workman's comp claim? Right? Yeah. So when you think about that, we want to protect the employer, we want to protect the employee, and it's all for as little as $22 a month for an accident plan, right? And the crazy thing is we're going to pay the money directly to you, right? Our largest competitor happens to be Aflac. We've been around 10 years longer, so we've got a little bit more experience than they do. We've got technology that can help brokers to be able to enroll the major medical benefits as well. So we bring a whole lot more to the table than just saying than a talking duck that says Aflac, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
where do you see Xander with Elite Solutions in say 5 years?
In 5 years, I want to be a $3 million district. So What does that look like? That means I have to have constant recruits, and I've got to have a team of like 40 ADMs, realistically about 40 ADMs that are identical to me in drive, right? I want them to do things on their own, but they've got to have the same drive. You can
take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
No, absolutely. I mean, as a district general agent, it's easy to want somebody to succeed, but you cannot want somebody to succeed more than they want to succeed.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, if I want you to be successful more than you want to be successful, I'm going to die first from trying to get you to get there, right? Mm-hmm. So the biggest, where do we see ourselves? It's going to be a $3 million district. We're going to have a $3 million district until 4 years, and at that point, I'll have to hand off the reins to somebody else, because my goal is to become the territory sales manager when my current territory sales manager retires in 9 years, and I will do that for 10 years. So by that time, I will be 62, and then the plan is to run for mayor in Loveland, and have my focus on building the small business community. That's and to have the right support for the small business community. It's a thankless job being mayor, honestly. But if I can be financially independent and financially secure, where I don't really need to be making money from being mayor, because they don't get paid very much. I think it's like $1.50 or something.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
we had a mayor on.
It's pretty much a volunteer job.
Yeah, that's what he said too. Yeah,
it's pretty much a volunteer job. But if we can drive the ability for a small business, for an entrepreneur to be able to come in and say, "Hey, this is what my goal is. This is what my vision is. All right, how do we help that small business owner
guide them through
get there?" Yeah. Right. And I think that's one of the things that really we bring with Elite Solutions, is bringing solutions for entrepreneurs that are looking to save a little money on their payroll taxes, to save a little bit of money on their workman's comp claims, because of the fact that their employees are protected by something as simple as an accident plan or short-term disability. It's small. It's small. If an employee pays $100 a month, sounds like a lot, but some of it is on pre-tax basis, right? Some of it is on post-tax basis if they get life insurance or short-term disability, critical illness. But in reality, if we do the majority of those on a pre-tax basis, that employee is getting taxed less. And so not only are they getting taxed less, but they're paying into a benefit. So they're getting something in return for the money that they're instead of sending it off to Uncle Sam and wondering when the road is going to get fixed.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's so awesome. Like, straight up, like what you were saying, like, I was just asking, like, 5 years, but you have, like, I think it's really important to people have, like, a plan. Like, hey, I'm doing this. You didn't say, well, I'm going to see if I can get it. You said, I'm doing this, and then I'm doing that. And, like, how it comes off, like, I'm sure you're going to do it. Like, because it's like you've convinced yourself that it's not an option. It's just a matter of time when it comes.
You have a picture up there of Kobe Bryant, and I think one of my favorite things that he always talks about, or he did talk about, was, he showed up to the gym, right? And even though he's tired and doesn't want to be there, you've already made a commitment to yourself to work out for those 2 hours. So you've got to go in there and get it done. Yeah. Right. So if you make that commitment to yourself, you've got to go in there and get it done. Yeah. Right. And so right now, my biggest focus is to build a broker network for my agency where I can have the respect of the health insurance community to the point where they can say, if I have a question about supplemental or voluntary benefits, I'm going to him. He knows this. He has a relationship with underwriting. He can get something done for our company. That's a big thing. When I first got into the industry, I thought, oh, well, now I'm doing this, now I'm doing that. Now I took property and casualty. I got into health insurance. I thought I was going to run the world in insurance. Let me tell you, man, there's so much stuff in insurance that changes on a weekly basis. Honestly, it's been about 2 weeks since something changed in health insurance. Some of the brokers that I'm talking to are like, we're just waiting for something to drop. Something's going to change. I have a relationship with Tim that I mentioned earlier. That is my mentor. He's been in the industry for 22 years, and he's still on, literally, like the old saying says, he's got his ear to the train track to hear what's coming down the pipeline. And he knows things are going to happen even before. Literally, I've had conversations where he said, "Oh yeah, this carrier is not going to be doing this. That's not public information, so please don't share it." And sure enough, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, that carrier announces whatever he just told me.
Crazy, yeah.
And to have that type of person on our side that can advocate for our clients in the health insurance industry is a big deal, man.
Yeah,
it's a big deal. I mean, earlier I mentioned NAHU. So I volunteered / got elected / I didn't know what I was doing when I said yes for this, but I'm glad that I did. I am the president of the Northern Colorado Association of Health Underwriters.
Yeah, congratulations on that.
Thank you. So yesterday we had our first official board meeting, and I talked to one of the board members, and after the meeting, and he said, "I'll tell you what I like about what's going on now. There are certain things that are already set in stone, as far as we're having a meeting here, having a meeting here, having a meeting here, adjourn for 2 months, then we have meetings all the way up until June. We already know what they are. It's pretty laid out. What I like about now is the focus on creating a vision for what we want our chapter to be." Every single time you're going to a brand new place, you're going to put the address in your phone, and Siri's going to tell you, in a quarter mile, turn left. Well, that's the same thing that I want to do with our chapter up in Northern Colorado is, hey, look at our vision and say, in a quarter mile, turn left.
It's easier trying to get everybody to go one way instead of like you turned and everybody kept going straight. It's better. It's momentum. You build the momentum. Everybody go together.
Yeah. And the fact that Tim is on the board, we have Lo Volk, who's been in the industry for forever and a day as well. And he's on the board. We have a brand new member of NAHU that is our secretary, and he asks all the good questions, like, "Hey, what about this? Hey, what about this?" And some of these ideas that he's bringing to the table are great. And so the fact that we have people that are asking questions and that are wanting to get better, that's what's going to really help us be successful. I want to focus on the responsibility of what NAHU does nationally, because I don't think a lot of brokers know about NAHU, and I don't think they know what NAHU does. So we're called the National Association of Health Underwriters, although none of us actually do any type of underwriting. So we have a name change that's going to be coming up here in January. It's going to be the National Association of Benefits and Insurance Professionals. So we're going to change from NAHU to NABIP, which is actually more fitting to what we do, and it's more inclusive to the insurance world, because we have people that are members of NAHU that sell Medicare, that sell benefits, that sell individual health plans, that sell supplemental benefits. So, and that's all insurance. So it's more inclusive of the industry than just health underwriters.
No, that's
So what they do is we actually lobby to help make sure that laws that are being changed are going to benefit the health insurance professionals. So for example, and this is just a small, simple example, 2 years ago or a year ago, there was a bill that was going to come out, and it was very specific about whether or not brokers could sell the state-funded plans, right? So if it was for example, covered Colorado plan, how would the brokers benefit from that? So it was fine because it was going to be a state-funded plan, obviously, et cetera, or it's going to be it's a covered Colorado plan. The one simple change that they made to the bill was if an insurance professional or a broker sells this plan, they're going to be paid the same way as if they sold a plan off the market. Why is that important? Because this individual took the same type of time to get somebody educated on the plan that made sense for them, took the same type of time to be able to get them enrolled. Not only that, but also took additional time to learn the regulations for them to be able to sell covered Colorado plans. So Tim and Megan Fearing, who is the president for CASHU, the Colorado State chapter, they went and spoke to the Department of Insurance and said, hey, this right here should be changed, and the language specifically here needs to be changed because the brokers should be compensated for the work that they do.
Yeah.
And that's, while they did not kill the bill, they made a small, tiny change to the bill that made a big impact on whether or not somebody got paid appropriately for it.
Yeah, for the future, for like upcoming stuff.
Advocacy. It's advocacy and really fighting for the client, really, because we are involved in going to DC and making sure that we understand what's coming down, what changes to the laws are happening and things like that. And so we want to make sure that we're standing up for the clients, we're standing up for brokers and things like that. And so that's a big thing that we do as being members of NAHU. And if there's any brokers that are out there, check out your local chapter, find out how you can be an impact in your chapter and how they can benefit you to join.
So where could people find you if they're interested in getting insurance or what you were just saying,
or more information on all that stuff? Because I think people do lack maybe education and stuff like that and advocacy, like you're saying.
Sure.
So we're
let me just make sure that I actually have the correct email for Nahu.
Yeah, because that's good. I commend you on that stuff because you have to take time out of your elite solutions to go do this stuff.
Right.
But it's
stuff that's got to be done.
Yeah, it's stuff that has to get done, and it's really essential stuff, like little stuff like that for the businesses, the consumers, and all that stuff.
We're in the basement, so it should be nahu.com, but where you can get information.
We'll still check it out, and we'll put it down below for sure.
Yeah, so it should be nahu.com where you can go get information on memberships, because you need to be a member of NAHU, and then you're a member of the state chapter, and then you are a member of your local chapter. So, it's a big deal. We want to know where people are going and how we can impact our industry.
Yeah. And what about you? How do they contact you, Elite Solutions?
So we have a local phone number, 720-388-8000. So if you are a broker that has any questions about how Colonial Life can help in the fourth quarter, that was one thing that I wanted to cover. The fourth quarter, my gosh, it's coming.
God, yeah.
It's coming, and the fourth quarter for brokers can be. It can be hell. I mean, to put it lightly, or realistically, it can be hell. It's busy. There are a lot. We have such a short window to get so many people
to maximize the most.
Yeah, absolutely. To enrolled into their benefits for a January 1st effective date. And that's where Colonial Life and a partnership with Colonial Life can really come in handy, because we have the ability, one, to not just provide education for those employees and employers on the benefits. We have an enrollment solution for them through partnerships to be able to go ahead and have integration with ease, Employee Navigator, and then we also have a proprietary enrollment solution called Harmony through Colonial Life. So we have plenty of different ways to be able to assist brokers in doing this, and it can all be done literally with your local Colonial Life agent. Yeah. Whether it's Johnny down the street or a district general agent like myself, we have the ability to be able to provide those type of services, and it's at no cost to the broker. The only thing that we ask, obviously, is one, they're contracted with Colonial Life, and we want them to be able to position our products as the solution for that particular business.
There you go. The elite solution. There you go.
Well, at the end of the day, we like I said at the beginning, we may not be the right fit for every broker. We may not be the right fit for every business. But if we can at least position it, that's a start, Exactly. Because if we can protect one family, if we can protect one employee or one employer from the unexpected and have something that they can literally rely upon financially to give them that extra security blanket, then we've done our job, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah, it goes back to what you're saying at the beginning, that starfish story, just making that small impact.
Make a difference for that one.
Yeah, you're making that difference. You're not you'll eventually get to more people, but then just making that, that little extra help for that one starfish.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
No, but I mean, Xander, if you guys check out his stuff, you guys need more information on that. I appreciate you for educating us. I didn't know like half this stuff on insurance, but it's great. I always love to learn more stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to have you on again to talk more about that 4-quarter stuff and how people can get ready for that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing that I wanted to talk about. But since we are running out of time, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're running out of time. Good talk. Yeah.
I'm just gonna take this. I'll take over.
Take it. Take over. Take the table.
Well, it's because I have a face for radio.
There you go.
Right. No, I really appreciate you guys having us here. I think one of the things that I want to leave you with is if you're going to make a decision on whether or not to get any type of coverage for your family, make a decision that is going to benefit you in the long run. It may be a small investment on a monthly basis, but if you think about how much we spend on coffee, how much we spend on energy drinks, how much we spend on, those other things that have a negative impact, can you invest for a family $50, $60, for an individual $20 to have a $10,000 coverage? That's a big deal. That's a big deal. So
that is for sure.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah. Well, thank you again so much for taking time out of your busy day to come have a chat with us. And to our audience, if you like what you heard, just give the video a thumbs up and just subscribe so you can keep watching some more high level people we're bringing on the podcast.
And make sure you check out Elise Illusions and Xander's stuff too.
Yeah. So with all that being said, guys, I'll just leave you with our infamous quote that an act of rebellion is to question. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.
Perfect.
Peace out, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Left me hanging. God
My
damn.
bad. My bad. Was that on video? Edit it. Edit it. Edit it.
Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated.